Chewy, thank you. It's Styles filling in for Bonte, Joe Shasky. We're going to reset it right here for those that are just coming in. And Jacob, Floyd, Bill, Tom, we're going to get to all of you on the line in a second. This segment is sponsored by Golden State, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com. Shout out Twitch, YouTube. Everybody's on there. And download that Odyssey app. We got a zillion different podcasts, feeds, music, talk shows. You name it, it's all on there. If something breaks and you're not near the radio, you got the Odyssey app. Boom, pop us on. We'll be talking about whatever it is. All right. You know, Steph Curry's coming back or something like that. You hear some news about the Golden State Warriors. They get somebody in a buyout. You want to hear about it right now? Get on that Odyssey app or on YouTube, favorite 95.7 The Game, and you'll be able to get instant access to everybody here at the station. Let's reset for everybody that's just coming in. This is what Carlos Rodon said, and I don't want you to be triggered on the booing part or by Rodon. Let's listen to what he's saying here. The fans in New York, they want to win. They care. They care a lot. Giants fans, they're invested, but not like in New York. Win or lose, you're not going to get booed in San Francisco. All right, now forget the booing part. Forget the booing part. Because trust me, Dunleavy got booed in a Warrior uni. All right. Biedron's got booed for years.
Well, you're not saying to forget it. You're saying, Rodon, let's agree to disagree.
Yes,
because
exactly.
We know that's not true.
We didn't care enough to boo last year.
Right, exactly.
That's what ended up happening. And my buddy John Delicella, who's one of the best sports fans that I know, like he really is. All right, he's driving around right now in a garbage truck. Love you, John. Hope the family's well. He always comes chiming in. He goes, you're mistaking being miserable for passion. We have tons of passion here in the Bay Area. We're just not miserable. Our fan bases consistently take over stadiums across the country, which is true. Whether we're good or crappy, we're there.
Yeah.
And I got to give him credit on that. He's right. And so I want to hear from fans. Is the Bay Area less passionate than LA, than New York, than Atlanta, than Chicago, than Boston? Let's go to Jacob in Sacramento. Jacob, step right up, no waiting. Give me your take on fan passion right now for you as a sports consumer.
Good morning, guys. I'll just say this. I have been a lifetime Giants fan, and I'll just say this. I have been passionate mainly because my dad got me into this, and I saw the first championship when I was 13 years old in 2010. And I'll say this. I've gone to 2 fan fests, and I don't know what kind of definition of invested I am, but my first time watching a full season was in 2009 with my dad the entire time. Well, even though there was blackouts and stuff, but I still listen on the radio.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I would say that a lot of us were passionate. We're very disappointed with what happened in the offseason. We were vested. We wanted that guy. We were hoping for the future and everything, but we didn't really necessarily get him. We got Haniger and Conforto. I don't know. My fear is if those 2 guys become, I don't know, Aaron Rowan and Mark DeRosa.
That's
Wouldn't
a
be
good
great.
call.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, let me ask you before you. Oh, he's already gone. Like, we all agree. Like, some people do love just basketball, and they're just a Warrior fan, and they don't like any other sport. Some people do. I think a lot of people, it's like, hey, right now the Niners are on top, and the Warriors are on top, and those is where I'm directing my focus and my energy, or maybe my money.
Yeah.
Right. And the Giants, because of the apathy that's set in, right now they're in 3rd place. But a couple years from now, if they're good and those other teams aren't as good, it could flip-flop.
Yeah, it's going to fluctuate. It's going to continue to fluctuate. And I think there was a good note in there just about, hey, my dad took me to games, right? That's a huge part of it.
Yes.
I think
familial ties.
Yeah, and I think a huge part of what we're seeing now is, these parents that right now you're growing up, and if your kid is anything older than, 5 or 6, they're a little too far removed from the Giants really doing anything. They more so grew up with the Warriors being the talk of the town and the toast of the town. So as parents, okay, well, you want a Curry jersey. You want a Klay Thompson jersey. So you might be a Giants fan, but you're getting pulled away because of what your kids are into.
Yes.
And you can't convince your kids to be into baseball right now because they're not very good. And they're not a lot of names to say, hey, what you want a Jock Peterson jersey? What do you want? And I think another piece of this, hanging with the parental aspect, is that there are a lot of transplants in the Bay Area, and there are a lot of parents that are second generation, and they might not necessarily be into sports. Period. They have their kids, they bring their kids out here, and it's the same idea. Who is it that your kids are getting you into in terms of sports? Okay, well, Steph Curry is going out, so now the parents are now Warriors fans who couldn't who never cared about basketball before that. And if you don't make that connection with Giants, I just think that baseball in general goes so far back, and that's why it's called America's pastime, that if you never caught on, you might not catch on if your team isn't very good. Maybe you get into it when your team is good, but these other sports where it's just quicker. It's just quicker than baseball. It's easier to connect to.
Alan, if I asked the same question 5 years ago, all the answers would be totally different.
I agree.
Okay, like Niner fans were not as passionate on the Niner after Chip Kelly. Just think about the end of Chip Kelly before Shanahan was hired. Think of how much you hated the Niners and how low they were. I couldn't pay a Niner fan in Week 16 to watch the Niners.
Yeah.
All right? I couldn't. Now, I know now it's different and everybody lives, eats, and breathes on every single practice rep, for crying out loud. But, like, you couldn't care. Warriors, they were on the come up. They had just acquired Kevin Durant, and they felt like the biggest story in sports. The Giants had just lost to the Cubs in a playoff series. They thought they were a closer away and signed Mark Melanson. They were still the toast of the town. And 5 years later, they're clearly the number 3. Is that because baseball? Is that because we're only passionate about winning? Or, like, what is that? Am I the outlier? Let's go to Floyd and Hayward and step right up. 888-957-9570. We've got some great texts that are coming in. I'm going to read some of them. The Xfinity Mobile text line, 888-957-9570. Floyd, I would love to hear your opinions on fan passion out in Hayward. Step right up, no waiting. What do you got?
Good morning, fellas. I'm a diehard Bay Area fan. I'm originally from San Francisco. So I'm Giants, Niners, Warriors to the heart. And, there's several different factors. For one, the West Coast, we got beautiful weather. There's a lot more things to do. On the East Coast, it's cold a lot. Like 8 months out of the year, it's cold.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have to do things that are, that occupy their time and things like that. But we don't really have to subject to things like, things like that. But that's one factor. And also, I used to listen to Gary Radnich.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a point to where he was saying that a lot of West Coast, not just Bay Area, West Coast fans are just a little more intelligent when it comes to things like things like
agree,
that.
Floyd.
We don't put all our time and money. We understand how management is run, and when you got a team that you love, but they're not investing in the players, why would you waste your time getting your heart broken and getting your feelings involved in a team where the owner really doesn't care? He's just trying to fill seats and things like that. He's not really trying to win. So I think there's just, there's certain intelligence levels and things like that factor in.
Hey, Floyd, before you get out of here, stay right there because I think you're a really good fan. I like hearing this. You obviously said you're a Giants fan. Don't you feel like I do? I do feel even though I love the Giants and I'm going to watch because I'm addicted to it, I feel so disconnected from the roster that they built. Like, there's not one guy that I've got this, like, connection to. Like, even Pablo. Like, Pablo's like the 6th guy that you'd reference. It's Lincecum and Bumgarner and Posey. We connected with Pablo. There was something that, like, we could feel them. There's not one guy on the team I connect to.
I totally agree. You have to have stars. You have to have stars. Stars move the game. I mean, winning, you have to win, of course.
Of course.
But stars are what the fans connect to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm with you, Floyd. Good call. 888-957-9570. Alan, I want to read you this text from the 415. And if you're just checking in, Rodon came out over the weekend, and everybody's triggered about the boo thing. And we know, I mean, you've been to a game, you've heard people boo. We've booed everyone. From Monte getting booed, the owner got booed for crying out loud, Joe Lacob, Mike Dunleavy got booed, Bijan's got booed, Zito's been booed. We booed everyone. Alex Smith was booed up and down. Ken Dorsey got booed. We booed a zillion different people. I booed Chip Kelly right off the field. All right, so forget that part. But here's what Rodon said. The fans in New York, they want to win. They care, and they care a lot. Giants fans, San Francisco Giants fans, they're invested, but not like in New York. Win or lose, you're not going to get booed in San Francisco. Are we less passionate? I think we're a little more sophisticated. Is not the word, because I don't want to make it sound like we're highfalutin and we're San Francisco and we're better. No, we've got meatheads too out here. But this is the way, like the 415 right here says it beautifully. 415 on the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. I definitely direct my money at the winning teams. I'm always watching every team. And if the Giants aren't opening up their war chest to win, then I don't feel inclined to throw more of my hard-earned money in that direction.
No, it's spot on. If you're not going to spend your money, why am I going to spend mine?
Yes.
It's that simple. You don't have to go there. We're going to go there and we're going to boo.
Yeah.
And I do think when it comes to the intelligence thing, not to say anybody, look, fan however you want to fan, but driving there, is this how you show the ownership and show the man that you're not happy? Well, we're going to drive there. We're going to spend our money. We're going to eat their overpriced food and snacks, and we're going to boo. And that's how he's going to know, and they're going to care that we boo. They're going to be laughing all the way to the bank.
Exactly.
They're going to say, well, we don't have to make the team better because you're coming anyway. We don't care if you boo, if you're continuing to come.
Yes. No, you're 100% right. So this all, it got me thinking, and I went on to Twitter last night. And by the way, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1, always live on the free Odyssey app, which I referenced earlier. Download that Odyssey app. Favorite 95.7 The Game. And don't forget, you can also watch every day on YouTube and Twitch streams. Shout out to the YouTube audience. I see you guys there, my family and Mentality and Skywalker Destroyer, all you guys. Thank you guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and hit that thumbs up button here on 95.7 The Game. I put out a tweet yesterday, and I feel like I've been doing social media all wrong for so long. This is the way I want to use social media moving forward, because I thought yesterday was a great experiment. I literally put this tweet out. I said, do you still love the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, as much as you did 5 years ago? And if your love fell off, why? Can they win it back? I got almost 200 responses. 200 responses.
Yeah.
And they were great responses. Some people say, hey, Ike, our boy who runs the sandwich spot, I'm a season ticket holder. Yet even during the 107 win season, I didn't go to a single game. That's how out of a relationship I am with this team. They don't have any must-watch players. Need those types of players to help me fall in love with my team again. Here's my buddy Dave. Absolutely, I still love them. The down years don't change anything other than making it harder to spend my money and watch them consistently. I'll always love the Giants, but they feel like a distant third right now in comparison to the Niners and the Warriors. And it's responses like crazy. So I guess what I'm asking people is it the brand of baseball? Is it baseball itself? Hey, I don't love baseball like I used to just a couple of years ago. Is it I'm directing all of my fandom, my fan width, to the Niners and the Warriors because they're closer to championships? Is it I've got all my fill in that 10-year run? They can be bad for a little while, and it's not a big deal. I'm too busy?
Yeah, I think a lot of
What is it?
I think a lot of this is also just baseball in general. And I know you love baseball and I love baseball. But when you're trying to convince your partner or your kids or whoever, hey, I'm going to keep on the game or whatever, you know Aisha. Yeah, Aisha Curry. That's Steph's wife. Your wife probably follows her on Instagram, might even have one of her cooking books, right? They can connect those things. I don't know anything about any Giants players, their partners, their kids. I know Steph is a superstar, so that's a tough one. But you got Clay on a boat all the time. You got Draymond now. His kid's been running around practices. You can connect, and that's something that baseball just does poorly, period. And I don't think that the Giants have been able to help that in any way because they don't have anything close to a star on that team. The closest thing you have is Brandon Crawford, who obviously his wife is very active on social media. She's basically carrying the load for everybody in terms of, oh yeah, we love Brandon Crawford. We love Brandon Crawford and his kids and his wife. We can connect that. Everywhere else, and I do think there's a part of this as well that also goes to baseball in terms of the international piece. I think that's a part of it as well.
What about basketball? The two most popular players in the game right now, Giannis and Luka, are born outside of the States.
And Larry and I had this conversation yesterday. I think basketball is going to have to deal with some uncharted waters in the future as well, because you need to just, it's not even necessarily about the international aspect. It's just the fact that we need something to connect you to. And in baseball, they do a terrible, terrible, terrible job of connecting. I don't care what team it is, of connecting you to those players. But on the East Coast, they don't care about the connection because it's all about the Cubs. It's all about the Yankees. It's all about the Red Sox. That's how it's always been. My dad's took me to the games when everybody stunk anyway. And on the West Coast, partly because of everybody moving here, partly because of just how things are created and the weather, they don't have that. So, hey, when the Giants are good, I'll pay attention. I don't have to. I don't have to pay attention. And the last thing I'll say is this, not to get too far in the weeds, but it's the same idea of just one way of doing anything, right? Jonathan Major, who's in that new Ant-Man movie, he did a Ebony shoot, and he's talking about the whole conversation because, he's not wearing a dress, but the whole conversation of masculinity came up. And what is masculine? What isn't? And he's like, hey, there's not one way to be masculine. There's not one way to be a fan.
I agree.
But on the East Coast, it's you gotta boo. You gotta show them that we're passionate because we're telling them we stink. That's your way. That's not the only way. And I think historically, that's what they've done.
Yeah, I think in the East Coast, they definitely boo and attend or whatever, but Sixers games were empty for a decade. This thing that Philly is better fan. Spadoni's laughing because he knows I'm right. That stadium was empty.
Sam Hinkie, trust the process, Shasky. Come on.
Oh, but Philly's just better than you. They're just better than you. It's shut up. I don't think that we're any less passionate. I just think we redirect our energy in different ways. Let's go to Marcus in Richmond. 888-957-9570. Is the Bay Area just less passionate about our sports teams? Or is it baseball? Or is it the Giants? Why are the Giants so little buzz heading into this year? Marcus in Richmond, step right up, no waiting. What do you got?
Yeah, man, I'm going to agree with you, man. It's redirected energy, and it's also economics. We live in the most expensive place in America, right? So you have to give us a reason to spend our money. For example, I'm a Raiders, A's, and Warriors fan, and I lived through the Chris Cohan years of the Warriors. I remember when re-signing Eric Dampier was big news out here. And as an A's fan, they should be thankful that they get at least 2 people to go watch them bums. The ownership has showed us they don't give a hoot about the fans.
Yes.
No, seriously.
I know.
If you're continuing to spend money to go see a product like that, when you got people out here paying $2,000 to live in a shoebox, I mean, what are you saying? And as a Raiders fan,
that's a great point.
Now, I sat and watched Jamarcus Russell throw countless interceptions before I had to say, yo, I need to reorganize my life and prioritize, because I can't sit here and watch a dude that gets paid $50 million in guaranteed money to crap out, when I got bills to pay. Yeah. So, yeah, man, we passionate, but you have to we're not like the East Coast. Go ahead.
No, Marcus, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I'm going to watch every Giants game, right? That's who I am. That's baked into my core. I just want them to meet me halfway and care as much as I do. And I feel like the team they've put together, they might win 85. It looks like you don't care. There's not one guy I care about. If you can't get Joe Shasky, who's the most passionate Giants fan out there, to care about your roster, how's my mother-in-law going to get invested? And he gone. That's okay. Let's go to Coach in Los Altos. Coach, 888-957-9570. Rodon says the New York fans care more, basically, than the Bay Area fan. Do you agree with him? Are we just less passionate? Are you redirecting your...
No.
Okay, Coach, get in there.
No. We're not less passionate. I mean, that's just nonsense. I mean, go to the last 49ers game against Dallas.
Thank you.
Go to the Warriors. Go to the Warriors when they're playing, and it's Memphis, even in the middle of the season. No, they're not. But what Rodon, I think, touched on is something that maybe we all feel. I feel that there's a bit of a malaise around the Giants.
Agreed. Agreed.
I just can't. I can't tell you. And by the way, when we talk about passion, remember in 2010, 2012, 2014, in those years when it was packed and people are singing and they're waving the flags. And no, it's the problem is I'm not a Kapler fan. I miss Boch.
Me too.
I miss those days, like you said, where I can connect to Panda. I can connect to, Let Timmy Smoke.
Yep.
I can connect to the Beard, Fear the Beard. There's no characters or character on that team. It's so blasé that there is a funk around the Giants right now that everybody's feeling. And Marcus just crushed it where he said it's expensive.
Yes.
And so on top of this, lack of connection, this malaise, this sort of new age funky weirdness, I'm not going to spend a lot of money to go be in that.
Yeah.
And I'm a baseball guy.
I know, Coach.
That's my favorite.
Coach.
And
let me get in here, Coach, because great call, and I really appreciate it. And we're going to get to Brendan and Alameda, Bill and Tom. We're going to get to all of you guys in a second. It's almost impossible how the Giants have created a roster that's going to cost them $180 million, and there's not one guy outside of Logan Webb that, and Logan Webb I care about, but not the way I cared about Timmy. And I'm not knocking him. He's kind of got a Matt Cain vibe to him where, if he's on, great, yeah, love it. I'd love to be there for a Logan Webb game. I don't need to see every little thing he does.
I think Logan Webb brings a lot more to the game than Matt Cain. In terms of me wanting to watch him pitch.
In personality?
Yes.
Matt Cain was awesome for 6 straight years. Awesome. Not good. Awesome. And look at his
personality
ERA.
On the mound.
The way they pitch is very similar to me in terms of they don't exude a lot of emotion, even though Logan tends to be a little more passionate. There's nothing that he can say at a microphone. I'm not ripping him. There's just nothing he can say at a microphone that I'm gotta hear what Logan Webb has to say.
I just think he comes off as a competitor.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and that's just what I like.
Even Bumgarner. We all love Bumgarner. Name one thing Bumgarner ever said.
Well,
or did.
But I think
besides looking at Puig after Puig hit a moonshot off him.
No, and I think that's a good point, and I want to get into it after the break in terms of how we revere the old Giants and how they had all these personalities. Would anybody have cared if they weren't winning? I don't think so.
No, but that winning is absolutely baked into the equation of how you create a connection. But I'm looking at this team, and we're gonna hit the break. We're gonna get to everybody who's calling in. 888-957-9570. $180 million. 30. I'm going right down the top. 31-year-old, 30-year-old, 36, 32, 33, 31, 33, 35, 32, 32, 31, 32. Down to 26. There are 14 guys making more money than Logan Webb, all in their 30s. How have you built a team making $180 million and there are 14 guys I don't care about ahead of Logan Webb?
It's not great.
No, it's a recipe for wasting money.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk to everybody on the other side. Let us know about the biggest games and stories in the Bay Area prep scene. SI lost to Sacred Heart in girls basketball last night at SH, so Sacred Heart looks like they're going to move on in the playoffs. I want to hear about stories like that. Email us at hss@957thegame.com. And what's coming up on the game is sponsored by the same vehicle I have, Mitsubishi Motors on 95.7 The Game.